Now, a friend of mine called me up, very smart guy. He said, I can't imagine anybody could go through 2.5 years, $48 million, 18 killers, some of whom worked for Hillary Clinton, right? Crooked Hillary. And it turned out they're the ones dealing with Russia. What a disgrace. So let's see what happens. It's too bad it's going so slowly. There's plenty of info there, and I try and stay uninvolved. Someday I'm going to have to get involved, maybe. I try and stay uninvolved. Going too slowly. No, sir, we'd rather not do anything before the election. Well, they did it to me before. They did during, before, and after. These are bad people. Comey, the worst director in the history of the FBI, a crooked person. Did you leak, remember, Chuck Grassley? Did you leak the information to the newspapers? He choked when he heard Chuck Grassley from Iowa, great gentleman. He looked at that guy. He said, did you leak? And he said, yes, he choked. You know, the guy choked like a dog, Comey. He leaked, he lied. He did a lot of things. You saw the report by Inspector General Horowitz, who, by the way, did a great report. That was a great report, Inspector General Horowitz, and I appreciate it. But you saw that on Comey. Comey should hang his head in disgrace. But we had to go through all this stuff. Think if we didn't have any of it. We probably wouldn't have done as well. You know, it's true. We might not have done as well. And we might not have these massive crowds because you saw what was happening. You got it. We might not have had. So I just want to tell you, we appreciate you so much. We really do. We appreciate you so much. And now we have to build on what we've done. Nobody has done what we've done. No administration has done. Thank you. Wow, I love you too. I love you too. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's really nice. You know, in the history of politics, nobody's ever heard that expression before. It's true. Look, Ronald Reagan, we like Ronald Reagan, right? But nobody ever said, we love you, we love you. Nobody's ever heard it before. Nobody's ever heard it before. It's an expression, true. You know, they were covering it the other night. They're looking back, oh, they want to find it so badly. They want to find somebody so badly. But it's never been said before, to the best of anyone's knowledge, and we appreciate it. I'll tell you what, when you hear that, I had a nice life. I had the greatest life. But you know what? I'm so happy. This was the greatest decision I ever made because we have done so much good together. We've done it together. We couldn't have done it without you. And we've done so much, from the biggest tax cuts in history to regulation cuts, the biggest ever. We have cut regulations at a level that nobody believed. It would take 18 to 20 years to get a highway approved. We have it down to 2. It'll soon be down to 1. And it may not get approved. It may be an environmental problem. It may be a safety problem. But it shouldn't take 20 years. It shouldn't take 19 years, 21 years. And by the time you get it approved, it's, first of all, you start off as a young man on a highway project, and you end up in retirement, and then you get a rejection. We rejected 3-2, some board somewhere. No, we've done a great job, and we've rebuilt our military. We just got a 91% approval from our veterans. The veterans just gave us a 91% approval, highest we've ever got. With your vote, we will continue to cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our police, support our great military, protect your Second Amendment, which is gone if Sleepy Joe Biden gets. Defend religious liberty and ensure more products are proudly made with that beautiful, beautiful phrase, right? Made in the USA. Next year we will be, and I mean this, I think we have such a foundation. This group over here, they're an activist group. Thank you very much. Thank you, fellas. This is a great group. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. So you had last year was the best year you ever had. Before that was the best year. You had 3 of them with me, and then we got hit with the plague, and then we went back to work. Under my leadership, our economy is now growing at the fastest rate ever recorded, 33.1% last week. And if you look at the auto business, I don't know what's going on. It's at a level that it's never been at. What is that all about? What is that all about? You wouldn't think, and this is during a pandemic. We're rounding the turn, by the way. They hate it when I say it, but we're rounding the turn. You know, they used to say, look at the way Europe's doing. Well, take a look at Europe, take a look. And what we've done in terms of the economy, we went down less than any major country in the world, or any country. And now we've gone up far faster and far higher than any country in the world. It's not even close. And it should be tougher because of the size, because we're a big country. We created a record 11.4 million jobs in the last 5 months alone, which is another record. That's another big record. We've never hired that many people that fast. While foreign nations are in a free fall, we're creating an economic powerhouse unrivaled anywhere in the world. A recent Gallup poll found that 56% of Americans say they are better off today than they were 4 years ago under Obama and Biden. And if Biden and Kamala, you don't have to say it, Kamala. If Biden and Kamala Harris, who's further left by far than crazy Bernie Sanders, right? He's considered a strict conservative compared to her. How the hell did he ever pick her, Mike? Where's Mike? How did that ever happen? That turned out, I don't think that's going to be a good pick. You're going to find out tomorrow. By the way, she happens to be slightly against fracking. She's still against fracking, you know? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Biden goes like, I'm against for a year and a half. You know, he's running. Nobody gave him a chance because he never got more than 1% in prime time, right? 25 years ago, the guy never got 1%. And, you know, he never had what it took. He was a glad-hander. Not a smart guy, not a nice guy either. By the way, not a nice guy. But he was, well, I used to call him 1% Joe because he ran for president all the time, and he never got more than 1%. Now he's got half the intelligence he had 20 years ago, and he wins. Politics is a strange business, isn't it? Strange, very strange business. But if Biden and Harris and the radical left gain power, they will collapse our economy and send our nation into a very steep depression. That's what's going to happen. This is the only man that I've ever seen run for office on the fact that he wants to give you the largest tax increase in the history of our country. No, that's his speech. He doesn't. The good news is he has no idea what the hell he's saying. So he goes up. Here's his line. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. It will be $4 trillion. They're going to increase your taxes by $4 trillion. $4 trillion tax increase. That's his campaign. And they're going to put the money in the Green New Deal, which is conceived and designated by AOC plus 3, right? AOC plus 3. This was their deal. I don't think they ever took an environmental course. Did they go to college, by the way? I don't think they ever took a course on the environment. But Biden wants to raise your taxes, $4 trillion, massively increase regulations. You know, the regulations may have been more important than even the big tax cuts that you got, the biggest ever. You got the biggest tax cuts ever, and you know it. You know it. You felt that in a very, very good place. You know where it is? Your wallet. You felt it in your wallet. They want to close down your factories, send your jobs overseas, destroy the suburbs. Women of the suburbs, please. Okay, please. I wiped out a regulation that would have destroyed your home, to put it mildly. It would have destroyed your American dream. And Ben Carson was a great guy. I said, sir, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just sort of ease it up? It's a horrible regulation. What it does is a horrible thing, and everybody knows it. It would have destroyed the suburbs. I said, Ben, let's just cut it out. Let's terminate it because there's no negotiating here. Let's just terminate it. And I terminated it. And you know, one thing I know about the women of the suburbs, they want two things. They want their home, they want their family life, but they want safety and they want security. And that's what we provide. And I think this will be like 4 years ago. Remember, Donald Trump will do very poorly with women at the end of the evening when they're all crying. You know, remember they were crying? Remember? Martha Raddatz, oh, she's very impartial. She was another one of my debate anchors. I had some real beauties, didn't I? She was crying, and they all said we're going to do badly with women. I'm going to do terribly with women. I said, why? What's so bad? Tell me what's so bad. And at the end of the evening, he's done very well with women. What happened? No. But this time we're going to do even better because we are providing safety and security, and for the suburban women, I mean, we're saving the suburbs. This regulation was so horrible. What it does to the suburbs, it would have destroyed the suburbs as we knew them. And you know, I got to say this, 31% of the people living and moving to the suburbs are minority groups, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, and they have a great American dream also. And they want to live in the suburbs and they want to be proud. And they don't want to live next to a project that somebody puts in because they play games with your zoning and other things. And all I can say is for the women, I don't even talk about the men in the suburbs. I don't care about the men in the suburbs. I only care because they're all saying, he's going, no, what about us? I don't worry about you. But the women of the suburbs are going to vote for President Trump because we love you and we're saving you. A horrible thing was going to happen, frankly. And it's been happening for years and it's been a very bad situation. So we solved it. We terminated it. It's gone. Now, if they should get in, you can take that regulation and quadruple it. Just like they want to quadruple your taxes, you can quadruple it. So I think that'll be good. I think we're going to have a great women's. That's a pretty hard pitch, but that's the way it is, right? They want to dissolve your borders. You know, we complete the wall in a very short period of time. We're over 400 miles. Over 400 miles, and that's right, Mexico is paying for the wall. You know, they like to say Mexico's. But we will have the wall completed very shortly. We're over 400 miles right now, 400 miles. And we're building 10 miles a week, and we now have the strongest numbers and the strongest southern border that we've ever had. And you know what? We want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally, and they have to come in through merit. We want people that can help us. We want people that can help us. They want to terminate religious liberty, outlaw private health care. 400, think of this, private health care. You work so hard. You have 180 million people that have a great health care plan that love it, private plans, and they want to end it and put you on socialized medicine. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be too happy. We have a cold. Let's go to the hospital and let's wait for 9 days to see a doctor. They want to confiscate your guns, Second Amendment, and indoctrinate your children with hateful anti-American lies. So you'll be happy that I just signed on the plane, this beautiful Air Force One, and it is a beauty, I have to admit, an executive order to teach our nation's students pro-American values. It will be taught. Sleepy Joe Biden has vowed to abolish and eradicate the American oil and natural gas industries, and he's pledged to ban fracking. And you saw that for a year, more than that. He'd get on stage with all these crazy people, radical left people, and they were screaming, who could ban it faster? He would say, yes, I ban fracking. I am totally against fracking. For a year, I am against fracking. I could play 100 clips. See the board? Where's the board? I spent a lot of money for that today. He's going, for a year, I am against fracking. Then he lucks out because Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren doesn't get out. So she takes enough votes. She takes votes away from Crazy Bernie, right, on Super Tuesday, and he loses by a little bit on each state, and Bernie loses again. This poor guy, Crazy Bernie. But he's running again in 4 years. Don't worry about it. No, he's the best loser I've ever seen. He can lose. He lost with Hillary. They didn't treat him too well, and then he lost. But Elizabeth Warren lost it. If she would have gotten out, he would have had the votes. He would have won easily. So instead of Crazy Bernie, I'm running against a sleepy guy, right? I'm running against a very sleepy guy. We can't let the sleepy guy fool us, though, because he happens to be a corrupt politician, and they don't want to ride it. Biden's energy plan will send every state into a crushing poverty situation from Michigan to Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota because of Omar and because we did a great job in stopping the riots in Minneapolis. The National Guard went in. They should have called them a lot sooner, like a week and a half. You wouldn't have had half your city burnt down. But Arizona, Pennsylvania, we're doing great in Pennsylvania, by the way. I just got the word. We're doing great in Pennsylvania. It's looking good. I think you're going to have a very exciting evening or day tomorrow, but evening in particular tomorrow. You know, when people see it, I walk in, we do polls, and they do a poll. We interviewed 73 people, and President Trump is down 57 points. This is a poll. See, this is a poll. When you draw crowds like this is not the crowd of somebody that's going to lose the state of Michigan. This is not, hey, look at this crowd. You can't even see the end of it. This is not the crowd of a second place finisher. Do you agree with that? No. This is our crowd, all together. We're in this together, and we're doing it together. As long as I'm president, we will remain the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere on this planet. And for the first time, we are energy independent. You never heard that term before. We're energy independent, and you know, we have very good relationships in different parts of the world, and some we help. We don't have to, though. Now we don't have to we do what we want. But we have some very good allies and partners that will help them. But we don't need their oil anymore. We have so much oil. We have more oil than anybody, okay? And it's an incredible thing that it's happened over the last few years, a lot of great things, and you're paying, what, $2 a gallon for your gasoline? That's okay. You know what that's like? That's like a tax cut. That's bigger than a tax cut. If Biden got in, you'd be paying $7, $8, $9. Then they say, get rid of your car. We're going to build some more windmills, kill all the birds. Joe Biden is a globalist who spent 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars in countries that most of you have never even heard of, okay? A vote for Biden is a vote to eradicate your auto industry. Somehow, I don't think you want to do that in your particular state. He was a cheerleader for NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals ever made. And now we have USMCA, which is a great deal. What a difference. No, you were sending all your jobs. You know, 12 years ago, I was honored, believe it or not, the Man of the Year. And I was never thinking about doing this. The Man of the Year in Michigan. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened. And I got up and I said, you know, you're losing all your car business to Mexico and Canada, too, by the way. And what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And it was a whole big thing, became quite controversial as usual, but I was right. And it was probably the biggest reason that I ultimately ran for the presidency, because I saw how we were being ripped off, not only the auto business, how we were being ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe, on trade. And it just was something that was terrible. Now with the USMCA, they said there's no way I'd ever pull it off. There's no way you get rid of NAFTA. You know why? Because Mexico and Canada loved it. I said, well, if they love it, that means it can't be any good, right? They said, we never thought of that one. So I wouldn't say they're exactly thrilled with USMCA, but we're fine with it. We like it. But he was sending your auto jobs, so many of them, to Mexico, and it was terrible. Joe Biden supported China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which was the beginning of a disaster. It was good for China, but it was sure as hell bad for us. But, you know, we won $7.5 billion a little while ago because we wouldn't win anything. They had no respect for this country whatsoever. And now they know that if they don't treat us right, we'll pull out of that deal so fast. Now all of a sudden we're winning all these cases, but we just won $7.5 billion, which would have been impossible with a different president. You are so lucky I've agreed to be your president. Go out and vote for Trump. $7.5 billion we won. That was nice. Michigan lost half of all of its auto manufacturing jobs because that was like a Biden and his friends. That was a betrayal to you and to many other states. He supported the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have eliminated your auto industry totally. I came in and immediately canceled it. I canceled it. I was so happy to cancel the TPP. I ended the NAFTA disaster, canceled that one too. I've been an activist. Despite the fact that every week I'm being hit on all different sides. Let's impeach him for having a perfect conversation with the president of Ukraine. They were the ones that had the bad conversations, including his son making $183,000 a month to sit on the board of a company. His son, where's Hunter? Where's Hunter? His first name is Where. Where's Hunter? Remember that? I brought that up. A T-shirt was made overnight. It was the hottest selling T-shirt of the year. Where's Hunter? You know where Hunter is? He's buying vacuum cleaners because he follows his father and he vacuums in money from every country that his father sees. No, seriously, Ukraine. His father was in charge of Russia, Ukraine, and China. President Obama entrusted him with those three countries. Those are three beauties, right? Russia, Ukraine. So Russia, Moscow, the mayor of Moscow's wife gives him $3.5 million. Hunter. Now he got, dismissed from the military, was unemployed. His father becomes vice president, and now all of a sudden he's raking in money like you never saw. Now you tell me, is that honest? And then they say the big guy gets 10%. The big guy, in some cases, gets 50%. And then the last one is they asked China for $10 million a year. This is Biden. They asked for $10 million a year, $10 million for introductory purposes. That's what introductory purposes. In other words, he's going to introduce people to who? To his father, for which he gets $10 million a year. I never saw anything like this. And the fake news refuses to report it because they don't want it in there because it's not good for them. But how about the Moscow? $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. $3.5 million to Where's Hunter? You know where's Hunter? He's at the bank depositing his money. Now think of it. So he gets $1.5 billion from China. He goes with his father on Air Force Two, a plane that the great Vice President Mike Pence uses too. Mike, do your kids follow you to the various countries raking in money? No. He's got the greatest people, the greatest children, the greatest family. I don't think they have, right? Where they're flying airplanes for our military. No, they don't. They do it a little differently. They do it the old-fashioned way. Now, Mike Pence, it's a whole different. I always compare. I say, can you imagine with Mike Pence how good we have it with Mike Pence compared to that? No, it's great. Now, how about the China, though? So the kid has no investment experience whatsoever. His father and him, they go into Air Force Two. In 10 minutes, like a 10-minute meeting, he walks out with $1.5 billion from China. They don't do this for the biggest investment firms. I spoke to a friend of mine. He's one of the biggest guys in Wall Street. He said, no, this is never done. They invest their own money. They don't need people that are much dumber than them to invest their money. They invest their own money. They don't do that. They said, wow, that's amazing. How long did it take them to get the money? About 10 minutes. Walks out with $1.5 billion to invest, which is millions of dollars a year. And the fake news and big tech, big tech is getting very dangerous. Very dangerous. But it's one of the reasons we have to win. They have me trending every day on Twitter, trending. They make up these stories, phony stories. They put up stories. Or they'll take an old story, make it as bad. #1 trend, like some really boring story. You know, trending is like, got to be cool, right, to trend? I'm trending #1, #2, #3, everyone negative, negative, negative. How the hell did I ever win this thing? It's such a fix with these people. I'm always trending with these stories that are like, either they didn't happen or they make them different. And it's not, I don't want to act like a complainer, but it's a totally rigged deal. And everyone said 4 years ago, they said, sir, you can't win. Why? Because big tech is against you. I said, what's big tech? I didn't even know what the hell it was, right? I learned fast because I think we're #1 in the world now on social. So we learned very well. We got a lot of people. You know what? If I didn't have, they say don't tweet. Forget tweet. It's called social media. If we didn't have social media, I'd have no voice. We wouldn't be here. I have no choice. They say, gee, we wish he wouldn't do so much tweeting. I don't do tweeting. What I do is social media, and without it, I don't think we'd be here because we'd have no voice. There's no voice with these people. They're dishonest people, mostly, not in all cases. But Joe Biden is a corrupt politician who, what he's done is he's bled America dry. In 2016, Michigan voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because, thank you, I'm not a politician, thank you. If I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight for you harder than anyone has ever fought for you before. Joe Biden is bought and paid for by big tech, big media, and powerful special interests. That's why he takes in $300 million. They take in millions and millions of dollars for his crazy campaign. And he's not going to win. I really don't believe he's going to win. Because of this, take a look. This is going on all over the country. They have tractors, thousands of tractors. You ever see this? Thousands in Iowa. They have we're winning in Iowa, very big, by the way, just in case. Thousands of tractors in Iowa on big farms, thousands and thousands. They have thousands of boats, 6,000 boats out in the lake, out in the ocean. They have things, nobody's ever seen anything like it. So I think we're going to have a very big day. But they say you can't win without big tech. Well, we're going to find out tomorrow. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But they said the same thing. They said the same thing 4 years ago. I thought, you know, the head of CNN said you can't win without CNN. And I said, really? And we won. So now we have to do it again. They're totally crooked. They're fake news. CNN is fake. CNN and the others are fake news. They own Biden. They control him, and they know that he will always do their bidding. Every corrupt force in American life that betrayed you and hurt you is supporting Joe Biden. The failed establishment that started the disastrous foreign wars that hurt our country so badly and hurt our young people so badly, they support Sleepy Joe Biden. The career politicians that offshored your industries and decimated your factories and sent your jobs away, they support Biden. The open border lobbyists that killed our fellow citizens with illegal drugs and gangs and crime, they support Biden. The far-left Democrats that ruined our public schools, depleted our inner cities, defunded our police, and demeaned your sacred faith and values, they support Biden. The anti-American radicals defaming our noble history, heritage, and heroes, they support Sleepy Joe Biden. Antifa and the rioters, looters, Marxists, and left-wing extremists, they all support Biden. This election comes down to a very simple choice. Do you want to be ruled by the corrupt and selfless political maniacs that you're dealing with, or do you want to be ruled by the American people? You're supposed to be ruled by the American people. Do you want to be represented by a career politician who hates you, by an outsider? I mean, just take a look. These people, what they do and what they get away with And I guess that's the other reason. I mean, I was in politics, and I see what's been happening to our country. Our country was going to hell, and we've turned it, and we got waylaid by this plague that came in, but we've done a job like nobody else has ever done a job, and you understand it. And that's why there's so many of you here tonight, and that's why all over the country this is happening, all over the country. And even they're just springing up by themselves. I'm not there. I don't do this. I mean, you look, they had something today I read where 100 miles of cars, all with the flag, the American flag, the Trump, the whole Trump thing. But you want to be represented by a career politician who actually doesn't like you, or by an outsider who will defend you like you have never been defended before. That's what I'm doing. And it's not easy. But there's nothing I've ever enjoyed more in my life, because we are making so much progress. We have to now finish the progress. A vote for Biden is a vote to hand the keys of government over to people who don't like you, don't respect you, and who want to rob your children of their American dream. We have a great American dream. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to keep our great American dream. A vote for Biden is a vote to give control of government over to the globalists and communists and socialists and wealthy, liberal hypocrites and all of those that want to silence, censor, cancel, and punish you. If you want your children to be safe, if you want your values to be honored, if you want your life to be treated with dignity and respect, then I am asking you to go to the poll tomorrow and vote, vote, vote. Remember what I said 4 years ago. I am your voice, and we will make America great again, and that's what we're doing. For the last 4 years, the depraved swamp has tried everything to stop me and to stop you, because they know I don't answer to them, I answer to you. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Together we will defeat the corrupt establishment, we will dethrone the failed political class, and we will drain the Washington swamp, and we will save that American dream, that beautiful, beautiful American dream. This election is a choice between a deadly Biden lockdown, open up your state, governor, or a safe vaccine that ends the pandemic and leads to the greatest economy in the history of the world. That's where we're going. We were there, and we're going to get it back very quickly, and that's going to bring our whole country together, because success brings it together. And it was happening. Before that plague came in, it was happening. People were calling me that you would least suspect, and it was all happening. And then we had to close it down and now build it up, and it's building. It's not a V, it's a super V. It's a super V. We will mass distribute the vaccine in just a few short weeks. It will quickly eradicate the virus and wipe out the China plague once and for all. And whether we have the vaccine, great companies, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, but with or without it, we are rounding the turn. Just remember that. You know, they don't like it. They hate it when I say that. We're rounding the turn. And they always use Europe. Oh, look at Europe, look at Europe. Well, take a look at Europe. Look at how they're doing. And their economy is in tatters, and they have a lot of problems. And we don't want that. We don't want that. And that should have never happened. Should have never happened. That should have never been allowed to happen. Joe Biden is promising to delay the vaccine and turn America into a prison state, he's looking you in the face, and he's locking you in your home while letting rioters, Antifa, the radical left, run down your streets, riot in your streets, burn down your stores, beat you over the head, and they're allowed to do that. But you can't go to your church, you can't have dinner with your family, but you're allowed to protest and riot. That's why I call all of these protests, because we're allowed to protest. You're not allowed to meet, and you're not allowed to pray together, but you're allowed to protest. So I call everything that we do a protest. The Biden lockdown will mean no school, no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgivings, no Easters, no Christmas, no 4th of July, no future for the youth. Other than that, it's actually quite good. A vote for Sleepy Joe Biden is a vote for lockdowns, layoffs, and misery. If you want a vaccine to kill the virus, by the way, he would have been so far behind on a vaccine. He would have been so far behind. He did the swine flu. It was a joke of why they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Now he's saying he should have acted faster, except when I did the ban on China, he said I shouldn't do it. For 2.5 months, then he admitted he was wrong, too, and then he runs, and now he's saying, I should have acted. I was so early in doing that ban, and we saved, and our biggest critic admits that we saved thousands and thousands of lives by doing it. Thousands of lives, and the ventilators that we made, and all of the things that we've done, and all of the medicines that are coming out, and here I am, right? Here I am. Now, I'm sure it had nothing to do with the medicine. I used to sort of give the medicine a little bit of credit. Now I give it none because I'm a perfect physical specimen, and I'm a very young person. I'm a very young person. I said that, of course, a little bit sarcastically. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I said, no, I'm better, perfect. I mean, it was very quick, very easy because I'm in perfect physical shape, and I'm a very young man. And CNN went crazy. He is not in great shape, and he is not a young man. They went totally crazy. They are definitely, seriously losers. Could you imagine if they had to cover Sleepy Joe for 4 years? Their ratings would tank. They have the highest, that's why football is not doing well. First of all, they're not going to do well. Basketball was down 71%, right? Their finals. You know why? Because our people want to see people that respect our country, respect our anthem, and respect our flag. And football's way down, but they're down for that reason, but they're also down because people would rather watch this stuff than watch football because this is much tougher. They consider this to be much tougher, actually. But can you imagine if they covered Sleepy Joe? The ratings are phenomenal for all these things, and then they cover Sleepy Joe. Their ratings would tank. They would come to see me. Sir, I think it's really important that you run again. You're going to, because we are losing our networks. Our ratings are down the tubes. The failing New York Times will definitely be out of business.